All right, we're going to begin our next unit, which is going to focus on hatching and cross-hatching. And simply put, it's just drawing with a pen. We're going to use a pen to hatch and cross-hatch to create shading, which is what I'll explain in this PowerPoint. So sometimes artists use different kinds of media to create their artwork. It might be a pencil, it might be charcoal, it might be paint, or for this unit, it's going to be a black pen. So how do artists use a black pen? Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to shade using the pen, and the marks they make do have a name. A single mark is called a hatch. So if you draw a line, you basically have drawn a hatch. If you cross over those hatches, it's called crosshatch. So artists can shade using a pen using hatching or crosshatching. So let's take a look at that. So here's a value scale created using a pen, and it goes from the lightest gray on your left all the way down to your black on the right. It's an optical illusion because the pen ink always stays pure black. So the artist has spaced these lines out for this really light gray, and they've spaced it out black, lots of white, black, lots of white to create the illusion of gray. Then more hatches, then more hatching and cross hatching, more. So it's an optical illusion. It's always pure black and pure white, but depending on the density is how I get the illusion of black or of gray. So here's a drawing an artist has done. And again, it's this fascinating illusion because the pen's always pure black, the paper's always pure white, and it's just through the spacing of those hatches and cross hatches that create the illusion of the grays. You can almost call this optical mixing. Rather than actually having gray, which we were able to create with paint when we added black and white paint together, instead we're spacing out these black lines to create the illusion of grays, or making those lines closer together and denser to create blacks. So here's another example. And again, if you look up really close, you can see that black, white, black, white. But as you move your vision backwards, your eye starts seeing those black and white areas as grays. So we've got hatching and cross hatching. So let's take it a little further. There's a technique called contour hatch where you don't just use a straight line, but you actually try to make your line look like it's moving over the surface of the object. It's curving over his chin. It's moving around the sleeve. And so that's called contour hatching. Another technique you can use that doesn't involve lines at all or hatches at all is stippling, and that's using dots. Again, the dot's always pure black, and so it's the spacing of the dots. Few dots far between each other with white paper create the illusion, the optical mixing of gray, and dots really, really close together create blacks. So our first assignment is we're going to do a worksheet and we're going to create a simple value scale using hatch marks. We're going to shade a cylinder using hatching, which is just sort of parallel single lines. Cross hatching, where we get to cross over them. Stippling, where we get to use dots. And then we're going to cross hatch a still life. Just a little note on the stippling. It takes a lot of time. So for the background of that stippled cylinder, you're welcome to just color that in black. I don't want you to spend a week doing little dots to create black.